All right. Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Brass, and this is another episode of the Brass Exchange. And I'm here with Night Shift. How are you doing, my good sir?
Oh, I am doing excellently, Mr. Brass. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Um, so can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am NightShift10000. I make videos on YouTube. And hold on one second. Just got to get to a different room here. But yeah, I make anarchist videos on YouTube, and I just love doing it. I've been doing it for a few years now, and got almost 100 videos in the bag. But yeah, I plan to keep on going for as long as I can. Been doing this since 2019, and yeah, not looking to stop anytime soon. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been on YouTube for like 10 years myself.
Oh, damn! Wow, nice. How long have you been making videos on YouTube?
About 10 years.
Oh, damn! Wow, I only just started in 2019.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't always been under the Mr. Brass name, but I've been on YouTube under different channels for I think maybe even longer than 10 years. I think like 2009 was when I first started on YouTube.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, I think yeah, it's been like 11 like 13 maybe 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've been on I mean it surprised me that YouTube's lasted this long, but yeah, so I'm sort of more of a veteran, if you could say that, on YouTube at least.
Hmm.
I have been trying to shift more to, say, new tech sites like Odyssey.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's actually a good one. What about BitTubers?
I haven't gotten on there yet, but I'll definitely see into it.
Hmm, awesome.
Yeah, and so I was thinking, can you tell because I know you work with My Two Cents, who is a Christian anarchist. Um, I know you. I think you donate to his Patreon, and in return, he lets you put one of your videos up there.
We also do collab videos from time to time. He lets me pick like a topic I want to do, and then we just collaborate on videos. We haven't done that in a while, and I am planning on getting back into that too. But yeah, sometimes I mirror my videos on his channel, but as of late, I've really just been doing that on my own channel, and I've been trying to get back into things. I've been trying to get back into the swing of things. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, okay, beautiful. Yeah, I've been trying to get back into the swing of things. I've had a really rough last year and a half. You probably know all about that drama on Twitter. But I haven't uploaded in a while, and I am looking to get back in on things. And so yeah, there is that. But I mean, I've known my two cents for God almost 5 years now. In fact, we've been friends, and I've been on his Patreon ever since 2018. So yeah, there is that. It's been quite a while, and from what I've heard, he is planning on making a comeback of his own. So that's gonna be
Yeah,
kind of fun.
yeah, I know. I mean, there's plenty of ANCAP YouTubers that have just sort of gone away. There are some troopers
Oh
that have stayed behind. Um,
yeah,
one guy, he was a kid, I believe. His name was like Atomic ANCAP.
yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, he Atomic ANCAP. He unfortunately has stopped making videos as of late, and it kind of sucks because I think he's changed his ideology from anarcho capitalism to something else. I don't know, but there's also Listen to Reason that stopped making videos, and I really wish he'd come back. Um, oh, the oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm actually drawing a blank on this guy's name, but it was like the NCAP demon. Oh gosh. Oh, I forget what his. Oh, I cannot believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. But he was like he did like a demon voice and everything, but he did anarcho capitalist videos, and he was really good too. And I really wish he'd come back too. But yeah, there's a lot of them that are just gone now, and I sucks. I wish they'd come back.
Yeah, I remember, like, yeah, because I met you through sort of, well, I mean, we've been in the same, like, private group on, like, on Twitter for a while, but I really got to know you more through, your connections with My Two Cents, because My Two Cents was a guest on another show I do.
Oh yeah.
So I sort of met you through that. And a thing that My Two Cents has been getting more into than before was he's going into more of the social realm and talking about like incels and feminism and all that.
Yeah, he's I don't know if you call it red pill, black pilled, or whatever it is, but he's really getting into the whole MGTOW thing. And after, honest to God, after what I've been through in the last year and a half, I do not blame him one bit. I'm going that realm myself. Just after the whole divorce drama that I've been going through, the fact that I got married and now I'm getting a divorce for one of the stupidest reasons ever is really, I mean, I'm looking at going that route too, because honestly, I just feel like when it comes to relationships and women, I just feel like I'm done. But yeah, I get what My Two Cents is going through, because yeah, I've seen him doing a lot of that stuff on Twitter. He actually wanted to do a collaboration video with me on my divorce and just everything that went into it. And that might be coming up soon. I'm also looking at doing a solo video about that, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm in all honesty, I'm about to go that route myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been red pilled for about, I don't know how many years, but like I can totally get the whole how marriage can drive a man to that.
Yeah.
I think, like, I remember I was engaged. I wasn't ever married, but I was engaged to a woman for like a year, and
Hmm.
she ended up coming out as a lesbian and dumping me.
Oh God. Oh, I hate to hear that. Yeah, I that does go up there with what happened to me, because I've got to ask, were you I don't remember seeing you on there. Did you know My Two Cents back in like 2019, 2020?
I think so.
Do you remember an individual named Tinseltown Queen coming onto his Discord, onto his Twitter, or anything like that?
No.
No. Okay. Well, that's the woman I ended up marrying. Was the individual Tinseltown Queen, and she at first it seemed like she was coming on to My Two Cents, but then she took a massive U-turn, came on to me, and
Man,
I took the bait. I took the bait. So, but
that's a
yeah, ended up starting a relationship with her, ended up falling in love with her. I thought she loved me. We got married, and about a year into the marriage, about less, actually, it was less than a year into the marriage, she decided she was done. So, I mean, we had one argument, we had one major argument, and at that point, she just was done. At that point, she was just done. So, I you know, I can definitely see where you're coming from on that. But yeah, that's kind of the divorce drama. And when I make my own video and when I collab with My Two Cents, I'll definitely go into more detail on that.
yeah.
But
Well,
that's just kind of the drama that's happened to me. And yes, it has kind of kept me from making videos. It has kind of kept me from doing things because of all that BS. But yeah, I kind of skimmed over all this in that ghost hunting video I made recently. But I'll definitely go into more detail on that one. So just wait for that video.
yeah, so she's in line to take, half of all your millions, isn't she?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Thing about it was is that before we got married, I did get a prenuptial agreement done, so she can't really take me for anything. Um,
Smart man.
what?
Smart man.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, she can't really take me for anything that I own, and she was okay with that at the time. It was, God, it was the weirdest thing ever. She seemed like she was the most loving, caring person, and one argument later, and she is just finished, and it was just it just took me by surprise. Like, so I can imagine what you're going through with the woman you were engaged to. I can imagine what you were going through, because it surprised the ever loving hell out of me when that happened. I mean, I thought what we had was deep, and yeah, it just fell apart so easily. So yeah.
Well, I can sort of probably guess how she got the name Tinseltown.
What would your guess be?
Uh, Probably a bit explicit.
Um, well, okay. Here's the thing about that. She claimed before we got married to be a virgin. She actually claimed that she was an unkissed virgin. This, of course, was a lie. I'm convinced of that. But she claimed to be an unkissed virgin. The reason she did Tinseltown Queen is, and I'm, again, in another video, I'm going to go in, not necessarily my divorce video, but another video, I was actually going to talk about pedophilia in Hollywood, like what's going on in Hollywood with, like, pedophilia and everything. And I was going to mention her because we had a conversation on something that I was going to mention in that video. But the reason that she goes by the name of Tinseltown Queen is because she she literally fantasizes about being the queen of Hollywood. And I mean, that is her actual fantasy, is being like, the biggest actress in Hollywood, the queen of Hollywood. And she was convinced she was convinced, she was told by God that that was going to happen for her. And it just, yeah, wow. There were so many red flags on this woman, and I ignored them all, and I really am kicking myself for that. But that was the reason behind her name, is Tinseltown Queen, because she wanted to be the queen of Hollywood, basically. So yeah.
But Night Shift, she's different. She loves you.
I know. Oh God, I fell for that. I deserve all the verbal rebuke for that, because I was ignoring red flags on her like crazy, and I really, really shouldn't have been doing that.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone's really been there. Like, if you're a guy,
Yeah.
I'll say this, there was more red flags in a Chinese parade when with my ex,
Hmm.
and I sort of like I put up with stuff that I never put up with in any other relationship because, well, she's different. She wouldn't turn this around and make and, ru-
Yes.
and make my life.
Oh man. I know what you're talking about. It was the same thing for me. I've definitely been there, and I can feel that.
Yeah. So and I do perfectly. I mean, I will say that she wasn't the worst woman I've ever been with. I've been in actual abusive relationships,
Oh.
but like when it comes to just being in a, because what was funny about our relationship was like I was a liberal Democrat at the time that we got together,
Oh.
and so I was all on board with, and I'm still am to a considerable degree, all on board with the LGBT community and everything.
Okay.
And so she knew that about me going into it. She knew that I was fine with gay people. I was fine with lesbians. I didn't really care. And
Okay.
but yet she still felt the need to just hide that little fact about herself from me.
Oh wow. God.
Like, I mean, I've even told her, like, because we were like, after we broke up, we did sort of remain friends for like I think maybe 2 years afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and afterward, I told her, like, you like if what she told me was is that, like, she wanted to convince herself that she was actually something that she was not.
Oh, gotcha.
And she told me that that the reason why it was because, like, she has a very religious family. Like, her grandparents
Ooh.
founded their own church,
Yeah.
and so she told me that, like, so she was just trying to appease her family, and she was trying to really convince herself that she was something she was not.
Mm.
So that's sort of, but I told her, like, if you would have told me hey, Derek, I'm a lesbian. Well, Brass, hey, I'm a lesbian. Can we just pretend like to be in a relationship just to, so my family doesn't suspect anything? At the time, I would have just, yeah, I would have done that. I'm an ally. I consider myself more of an ally to the community back then. So I would have
Mhm.
totally gone along with it if she would have proposed it like that.
Yeah.
But to actually just get me invested for a year and then tell me that, like, that was more of what I had more of a problem with. I didn't have a problem with her being a lesbian.
No,
It
of
was
course not. Yeah.
like I didn't care about that part. I cared about the line.
Exactly. No, no, I get that. And that's, oh God, that's, man, that sucks. And honestly, I mean, honestly, you're better about it than I would have been, because even being, I mean, I myself, yeah, I'm okay with the LGBTQ community. I'm not really liking how they're being tolerant of pedophiles right now, going back around to that little topic. I'm not really liking that. And I'm not liking how they're trying to induct kids right now, but I am more or less on board with the LGBTQ community. However, I don't know if I would have gone along with her on that. I mean, if she was basically, I mean, either way, even if she'd come out and said, like, Night Shift, will you help me in this? I would have been like, no, no, thank you.
Well,
So, I mean, you're definitely better about that than I would have been. So,
I mean,
yeah.
part of the reason why, like, I was like to say I was a liberal Democrat back then is really to say I was a liberal Democrat back then.
Oh,
The Here's what was funny about me. I used to be a Christian, and I was like, I was also very pro-abortion
hmm.
to like the extent that I accepted it all the way up to about 5 minutes before birth.
Okay.
And what was so funny about it is that when I came out as a non-Christian, that that disappointed my family a bit. They were sort of disappointed that I stopped being one. But when I came out as being pro-life later on, like they were just completely flabbergasted. Like what?
Wow.
So it surprised them far more when I became pro-life than it did than me not being a Christian anymore. Because
Right.
that's just how committed I was
Yeah.
to that position for such a long time.
Hmm. No, and I know where you're coming from. I honestly know where you're coming from, because, like, literally for about ever since I was 5 years old, at age 5, I converted to Christianity. I became a Christian at like 5 years old. I remember I was 5. I prayed the prayer. I asked Jesus into my heart. And for about 25 years, up until about when I was 30 years old, I was a Christian for that long, extremely pro-life, extremely anti-LGBTQ. Um, I actually went from being non-political to being a Republican to being very Republican, very conservative in my college years. And then I went to being libertarian, and then I went to being anarchist. And when I was 30, I ended up giving up on Christianity completely, becoming an atheist. Then I went, again, this is kind of how my ex-wife, or my soon-to-be ex-wife, kind of torpedoed me, was because, and this is why I actually thought that, she was the real deal, because the one condition she had, for being my girlfriend and then being my wife, was I had to believe in God. So I had to convert. I had to go back. And so I was able to appease her kind of by saying, I'll give God a second chance. I'll look back into it. And she was appeased by that. And but I did go from being an atheist, a full-on atheist, to an agnostic. As for being pro-life, God, I like to say this about it. I am personally pro-life. I am politically pro-choice. And I actually posted that thing from the eyesight 2020 or 2021, whatever it was. It was basically like, what is your opinion on abortion? And it said pro-choice. I guess I would have to put myself as that, because I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I don't believe that the government should have control over something like that, or that the government should actually have, like, a say in something like that. I do believe that it should be the personal choice of the individual on whether they're going to keep the child or not. However, on that note, I'm going to say no, do not like abortion. I am not personally for it. Any children of mine, as long as I have a say in the matter, they are going to be born. They're definitely going to be born, and I will definitely try to talk you out of your abortion. I will definitely try to talk you out of it if there's a way to do that, but I'm not going to put a knife to your throat and say, no, you're going to have this fucking baby, or I'm going to cut your throat and basically kill you. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I guess I would have to put myself as pro-choice because I don't like it, but I don't want the government to have. I don't want mommy government to be in on the issue. I guess is what you would say.
Yeah. Which I totally get that sort of perspective, in some ways. Um, but a thing that I also get is like I do see that because people like some pro-choicers of the more pro-abortion side of it, like when I
Mm-hmm.
say this, they'll think I'm advocating for war, and I'm not
Oh,
at all. I'm anti-war, and I've said if things keep up like how divisive the topic of abortion is, I could very easily see this going down a sort of Civil War 2.0 issue.
oh God, we are okay. If you want my opinion on things, if your audience wants my opinion on things, we are heading right into Civil War 2.0. We are heading into either a second American Revolution or a second American Civil War, or a huge agglomeration of both of them at the same time. We're like, we've got sides that are fighting the government. We got sides that are fighting each other. It's going to turn into a giant, pardon my language, a giant cluster fucking at some point. And I do believe that in the next few years, we're looking down the barrel of that. So we're going to see that coming no matter what, in my opinion. So there is that.
And so, like, so I mean, and I say that, and people say, "Oh, well, you're advocating for war." And I'm like, no. I've said
No.
specific. I'm hoping that we can resolve all these issues without a war. I hope for that, but I'm also not stupid. I know that whenever, for example, personhood has ever been up for serious debate
Mm-hmm.
in society, whether it's been with blacks, Jews, or whatever, it's always led to a war. That's
Yeah.
like, to think that, oh, well, having a civil war over abortion or whatever, like, that is not like something completely out of left field that would follow a trend that's been happening for about 100 or so years.
No, I get that. I understand that completely. And yeah, I could definitely see it. I can definitely see it at this point. Yeah, I could definitely see it going that way just over abortion alone. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, so that's how, I mean, personally, I've actually, like, because a lot of times the people on the pro choice side will accuse me and others of not wanting a compromise. And I've actually proposed a compromise that would, for one, it would tell, pro-life states, hey, look, we're not going to, you can do what you do, and the pro-choice states will say we can let you do what you do. And what I've proposed was we have a constitutional amendment that says that after this moment, like after this amendment is passed, the federal government can have nothing to do with the issue of abortion one way or the other. Meaning the government could not pass a national bill prohibiting or promoting the issue of abortion, meaning it would become a permanent state issue. And, the pro life side and the pro choice side would just simply have to either accept that there's going to be some states that have it and some states that don't, or they're going to have to make the arguments and convince the other states to remove or to go along that line. It just simply
Right.
would simply not be in the federal government's jurisdiction to do anything one way or the other.
Yeah, no, I get that. The only thing about that is, and again, it's the reason I'm an anarchist, and it's the reason I'm very skeptical of the Constitution is They can write anything on paper they want down. It's just how long will it take before the federal government or some outside leadership, infringes on that. And when we try to say, this is our constitutional right now, they're basically going to just wipe their ass with it and say, no, it's not. And I'm going to turn the military on you, and I'm going to turn the police on you if
Yeah.
you disagree. And I actually think I think I referenced this, but it's the whole Constitution. It's like that scene in the show Game of Thrones, the first season of Game of Thrones, when King Robert Baratheon, before he spoilers, before he dies, he writes out a note naming Ned Stark, the guardian of the throne. He is supposed to serve until Prince Joffrey can come of age. And the problem is Prince Joffrey's mother, Cersei, has already taken the throne just by her word. And Ned Stark, he tries to hand Cersei the letter from the king, and she's like, "Is this meant to be your shield, Lord Stark?" A piece of paper as she rips it apart. And I love to reference it and say Cersei is the U.S. government, Ned Stark is the people, and that paper that she ripped up is the U.S. Constitution. It's just it's very much like that. It's like, we can write something down on paper all we want, and the government can agree to it at the time. Just how long is it going to take before that government that is controlling the police force, that controls federal intelligence, that controls the military, how long will it be before they infringe upon that
Yeah.
and go back on it on one side or the other? So it's another reason I'm an anarchist, is because same thing happened with the Magna Carta. The same thing is happening even now with the Constitution. Looking at all, it says in the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights, shall not be infringed upon. Well, every single gun law is an infringement, and unfortunately, we've seen that from most of the presidents that have existed. Even President Trump claimed to be very, very firearms friendly. Yeah, he passed a bump stock ban. He tried to pass a suppressor ban. I don't know. I don't believe the suppressor ban made it, but the bump stock ban definitely made it. And those are infringements. Those are infringements on our rights. And so
And
you can, yeah.
I need to remind you of red flag brawn.
Oh yeah, red flag laws. And even presidential hopeful of the Republicans, Ron DeSantis, was for that. Although he did do something that I liked. He did do something that was kind of admirable. He passed constitutional carry in Florida, which, okay,
Yeah.
good on him. Good on him. But he was still for the red flag laws. And we have had several presidents and governors that were for red flag laws, and those are infringements. And it's like, you can write anything on paper you want, but when the government takes power and the government has just
Well,
this overwhelming amount of power,
well,
they're going
yeah.
to take that away.
Well, yeah. And what I would always say is like, well, I mean, the thing is having red flag laws and like concealed carry, like permitless carry or whatever. How you would? It's like one will necessarily end up conflicting with the other because, like, if all they need to do is just say, "Oh, well, this guy that has his gun out in public,
Mm-hmm.
he's a threat. Take away his gun." And under red flag laws, that can end up getting his gun taken away. And if he wants to get his gun back, he has to pay all the money for court in order to get it back.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, to have red flag laws and permitless carry or whatever, like the red flag will end up trumping it.
Actually, with what Ron DeSantis did by passing constitutional carry, I believe he nullified all of the red flag laws that he once supported. I guess he finally felt the pressure of that. But I mean, it doesn't change the fact that the red flag law should not have existed. And really, what we need is not even just permitless carry or constitutional carry. We need what is known as inalienable carry, which means it doesn't matter what's written on a piece of paper. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what laws exist. You have a right to not only own whatever weapon you want, you have a right to carry it around. You even have the right to manufacture them. That's what we need, is like inalienable carry, inalienable weapons ownership. That's what we
Yeah.
need, in my opinion, at least.
Well, and that's a good thing about 3D printers is that 3D printers will eventually, if once they get more advanced enough, they will make gun control laws irrelevant.
Oh, they already have in many ways, and I love it. While the government's saying money printer go burr, we the private citizens are saying 3D printer that prints weapons go burr. Love it.
Yeah, it's always fun when that happens
Oh yeah.
because yeah, but I do find I've always made this sort of connection where if if I were to make a money printer that printed out fake dollars and made the dollar bill worthless, I would be called a counterfeiter and I would go to jail. However, the government can print out lots of dollar bills and make the dollar worthless, and they're perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean it's it's I mean, yeah, and there's a whole list. Oh god, I've got like tons of those. There's like full lists of things, it's okay when the government does it. Basically do that, that kind of SpongeBob meme stuff. It's okay when the government does it. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's like, when they print money or when they print, money that doesn't have any value, they're just printing money. When we do it, it's counterfeiting. Ugh,
Yeah.
it's just crap.
Mhm. Well, also, like, what's funny about the whole gay marriage issue is that, on one hand, people are saying this sort of ties into the Second Amendment as well, but there have been cases of the Supreme Court where it said that you can't license a right or liberty. And what's funny is that these same people will say that the government has to be involved with marriage licenses, and at the same time say that marriage is a right or liberty. And they don't seem to get the connection about, on one hand, you're saying that there needs to be licenses for marriage, while at the same time saying that there shouldn't be like licenses for guns.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I know it's government's pulling shit, but uh,
And what people, funny enough, don't realize is that the government getting involved in marriage in the U.S. is actually relatively recent.
oh, I know. And oh God, I can't think. I can't think of when it started happening, but yeah, before that, it was not involved. They weren't involved in it.
I mean, I believe it was like around 1879 when, because I remember 1879 is when the Supreme Court, like versus Reynolds, they had went, you know, because basically it was on the issue of polygamy, and like it was the Mormons that wanted to practice polygamy and polygamous marriages, and the Supreme Court struck that down.
Yeah,
And that's sort of what got the federal government into the whole marriage business
yeah.
more,
Well,
because
and
now,
that's
yeah.
keep going. Yeah, keep going.
Oh, you go.
Well, and I was just going to say, that was the only way that Utah could have gotten into the union, or that was the only way Utah could have become a state, is if the linchpin in that was they had to give up on polygamy, they had to give up on plural marriage and whatnot to actually become a state, and the U.S. government actually held that over their heads, and so the state of Utah finally said, yeah, you know what, fine, we'll just do it, and it does seem like that was it's like seriously you're going to withhold statehood for plural marriage, like that's going to be the linchpin of it. You're not going to do it for all these other things that are happening. It's just going to be that. It just didn't seem necessary.
And what's the big funniest thing about it is like, because people will point out to Muslim countries about polygamy and like how they allow polygamy and look how rampant it is. I'm like, even in countries that are for polygamy, it is actually pretty like um the majority of the population doesn't actually do it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I think like the highest any Muslim nation comes in like the rate of polygamy is like 30%.
Yeah,
So
it's not
like,
really. It's not huge. It's not that big at all.
yeah, and it ranges anywhere from like 10% to 30%, with 10% being the least one. So you have a situation where about 70 to 90% of the population does not practice polygamy at all.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and usually, like, the reason why is sort of like the only people that can really afford polygamy in those cultures are rich guys.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I just wanted to bring this up. I mean, it kind of pertains to this. I actually, back in high school, I had a teacher who knew a guy from Saudi Arabia who actually did practice polygamy, and he had about 4 wives. And this guy told him that it was expensive as hell. The thing, I mean, and of course, this dude who had 4 wives, he was jumping to like the rich examples because he was like, if you buy one Mercedes Benz, you have to buy all 4 of them a Mercedes Benz. If you buy one of them like a hot tub, you've got to buy all 4 of them a hot tub. And he said it was it was expensive as hell. I kind of wonder if in some of those countries they have rather expensive tastes because of the oil market, but oh yeah, over there it can be it can be backbreaking sometimes. So yeah, it really is only the richest that can afford it. But
Yeah.
it does kind of make me wonder if it's
Well,
also because of the extravagant tastes.
well, here's the funny thing is that's a trend that goes back a long time.
Oh yeah, oh definitely, yes.
Because even in the Bible, because like there are examples in the Bibles of people practicing polygamy,
Mm-hmm.
and I've said, if you point out all the people in the Bible that have practiced polygamy, they all have one thing in common: they're
They're all
rich.
rich. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Solomon, King David, Moses, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Jacob, like all these guys had money.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, the only so these are the only people that could afford it.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Like,
definitely. Mm-hmm.
and so I mean, it was just so funny how they seem to think that this was this big thing that happened, and because a lot of people will use the old adage, well, one man can get 1,000 women pregnant, but like so many women can only have so many babies, and I'm like in a sense, it's both true and false at the same time. It's
Yeah.
true biologically speaking, any one man could, in theory, father like 1,000 children with 1,000 different women.
Oh yeah.
But, but in a social sense, the odds of that happening are about the same odds as a guy hitting the lottery.
Yeah. True. No. True. Very
Because
true.
look, I've said this, like a guy like Bill Gates or Elon Musk, if they wanted to, they could do that. But the average guy, like, fry cook Bill at McDonald's, he's not going to accrue a harem of women.
No, God, no, 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 no. But yeah, I mean, in fact, I almost wonder about Elon Musk sometimes. Is when is he going to reveal his harem? But no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and yeah, it's the same back then. It's the same now. If you want, well, and here's the thing. Usually, even if you want one wife, and again, going back to my marriage, I learned this the hard way. Usually, you've got to be rich because if you're not careful, even one woman will gold dig the shit out of you, and she will leave you penniless. And it can usually hit you hard if you're not careful with one woman. So,
Well,
got to be careful on that front.
well, people, yeah, that's a common thing that's been noticed now is like where people have noticed that it's rich people marrying more and poor people not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I point out that there is a logical reason for that. Rich people can afford the consequences of divorce a lot more than poor people.
Oh yeah.
Like, for example, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and all these billionaires or whatever, they could be divorced 2 or 3 times and they're still going to be rich.
Right.
But if Fry Cook Bill gets divorced from his wife, he's going to be end up on homeless and on the streets.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, guys like Elon Musk and Bill Gates or whoever, like they can afford to lose a couple billions or even $1 billion and it not like in the grand scheme of things, it not make a difference to them.
Right. Exactly. Hmm.
So
Exactly.
So so it makes perfect sense why they could why rich people can afford to get married. Like if you're not, then quite literally it can leave you like homeless if you're not.
Yeah. In all honesty, I mean, in my, again, according to my situation, I'm honestly wondering if that's where she wanted to leave me, was homeless, because she sapped my savings. She honestly sapped my savings. And yeah, I almost ended up homeless myself. I have no doubt that had it gone on for longer, that she would have gold dug me out of house and home. So yeah, I'm definitely an example of that. But
So I mean,
yeah,
I would assume no kids were involved.
huh?
I'm assuming no kids are involved in this.
No, thank God, no. And the cruel irony of that is, I dreamt about having kids with her. I actually, we both did, apparently. At least she claims she did too. And I wanted kids with her. I actually wanted to have children with her. We even had a pregnancy scare in our relationship, and it turned out to be nothing. But it went from, and it went from both of us being apprehensive about things because of where we were living, and she found out that she wasn't pregnant, and there was kind of a relief that came. But a few minutes after that, we were both crying in each other's arms because we
Yeah.
came that it was like we came that close to being a mom and a dad. And it's like, I wanted that with her. I wanted to have children with her. I wanted that life. And yeah, now I'm just thanking whatever higher power there is, if there is any, that it did not go that far, because wow, God, wow, just everything she did to me. I do not want any genetic connection to her. I do not want any financial connection with her. I literally just want it to be over at this point, and unfortunately, it has not come to its final terms. But wanted
So
kids, but now I'm just lucky that there weren't any. But go on.
yeah. So are you hoping to so you're gonna rush into another marriage anytime soon?
Oh God, no. I'm even if I get into another relationship, I'm going to make it very clear that marriage is a no-go. That I've been there. It ended disastrously for me. I'm not putting myself out there again. But more than likely, here's the thing about it. I know that she had no problem moving on. I know that she immediately went into a relationship with another guy. Literally last summer, right after she left. I know that she rushed right into a relationship with another guy. She tried to get in a relationship with another guy after that, and who was an online influencer.
My
And
two
what?
my 2 cents.
No, 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 no. My 2 cents. I don't think you would betray me like that. No, it was a Planet Dolan influencer. Have you heard of Hellbent?
Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
Hellbent. She started trying to get with him. She actually started trying to get with him. She got onto his streams around October of last year. She started going into a stream. She started flirting with him. She made a Twitter account just to flirt with him. And yeah, she was donating to him. She was technically, I mean, I got really angry about it at the time, but I kind of examined what she was doing, and technically she was simping for him. She was technically simping for him, and she was technically being a simp. But I did get really angry about that because the marriage was not dissolved, the divorce was not finished, and she was already rushing out to try and get with this guy, to try and get with another influencer. And nothing came of it, thankfully. She has since stopped going onto his streams. And and I say thankfully because I'm thankful that he didn't fall for it. I'm thankful that I know that even while she was trying to get with him, she found someone else even around January, and she was with him till February until they broke up. And honestly, all I'm going to say is she is not a bullet. She is like the Morgul knife from Lord of the Rings. She's very much like the Morgul knife from Lord of the Rings, being that she will make a wound that will never heal, basically, that will essentially never heal fully. And I'm just glad that there are guys out there that are avoiding the Morgul knife that is Tinseltown Queen, that is Monica, basically. So there is
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And so I always did find it sort of interesting how, like, because personally, I think how the whole red, because apparently everyone's going mental over Andrew Tate.
Oh yeah.
He he he's gotten both tradcons and liberal feminists angry, and that's sort of what attracts me to him. Anyone that can piss off those two groups makes me happy.
So same here, honestly. And here's the thing: there's have you heard of Just Pearly Things?
Oh yeah,
She's been dubbed the female Andrew Tate, and I'm going to make a video about Just Pearly Things here in a few weeks. It might be sooner than that even. I'm going to get to work on that pretty soon. But I'm definitely going to make a video about her because she is definitely the female Andrew Tate. And I know that her and My Two Cents have had a falling out. I'm not going to ask My Two Cents to mirror that video on his channel. But that video is coming, and it's going to be, I am going to have some criticisms. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have some criticisms about her, but it is going to be a lot of praise for her because I'm with you. Any guy or a girl that would do that. So Andrew Tate and the female Andrew Tate, Just Pearly Things, who can do that, who can elicit that kind of reaction from both sides, is definitely okay in my book.
yeah, yeah. Generally, my politics is the policy going to piss off tradcons and liberal feminists? If so, yeah.
Based.
You know, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to invite you to my barbecue or anything, but I'm at least going to sit down with you and listen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just on that basis alone,
Mm-hmm. Now I
which
get
is
that.
which is sort of funny with me is like whenever I get into an argument with a tradcon, I get called a liberal Marxist. But
Oh,
but whenever I get into an argument with like a liberal feminist, I get called a conservative tradcon and whatever.
oh, same here. Same here. I mean, honestly, when I go to argue or debate with a conservative or liberal, they think I'm on the other side. And I literally have to say to them, do you think conservatives and liberals are the only things that exist? I mean, is that literally your resolve? Do you not think there's anything else? And thankfully, I've debated a few. I've debated a few that have put kind of they put the pieces together, and they're like, oh, you're a libertarian. Okay, I get it. And and more than likely, they won't take me seriously even more based on that. And I don't know why, because libertarianism, anarchism, it's the way to go. It is honestly the way to go. And
But
it's
don't
like,
but don't you know that being a libertarian means you want to abolish age of consent laws?
but what if the child gets, oh God, with all, okay. And again, another forecast of a video I'm making. It's not just the Hollywood video. There was a movie that just came out that was made starring Jim Caviezel, and it's about child trafficking. And it's about how Jim Caviezel is trying to get rid of child trafficking and trying to find kids that have been trafficked. And not only have I said several times on my Twitter that pedophiles need to go through the wood chipper feet first, but I'm actually going to do a movie review on this movie, and it's called Sound of Freedom or something like that. I only just heard about it, but I just saw the preview for it and I saw what the plot is about, and I'm definitely doing a movie review on that, and I'm going to praise the hell out of it. So look out for that one too.
Yeah, and that's sort of a funny thing. And I remember I will give a little pushback because I remember you had said that how the LGBT movement is sort of aligning themselves with pedophiles more. I
They, yeah,
and I'll give a little bit of pushback because you make it sound like it's sort of a new thing. That's always really been there to some extent.
it has. Yes, it has, unfortunately. And
I mean, well,
yeah,
Harry, I think his name was Harry Hayes.
yeah,
Um, he's one of like the founders, like the main proponents of the whole issue of the whole LGBT movement, and he was like one of the, if not the co-founders, he was a great supporter of NAMBLA, which is like a
yeah.
pro organization.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, don't get me started on Nambla. Oh,
So, I mean, to say that it was like this is sort of a
a
new,
recent that, yeah, you're right. It's been there for a long ass time, and it's just, oh God, it's just I don't know what the deal is. It's like just I don't know why we're only just recently really hearing about this. I mean, I don't know if it's the advent of social media getting into it or if people are just starting to notice these things, but it only seems like recently we've been starting to hear about this. But yeah, you're right. It's been going on since forever. It's been going on since forever in that community. And it just, LGBTQ plus community, you really need to police your community better. Just saying.
And I mean, like, yeah, I mean, and there's a thing, even when it comes to the whole gender construction, the woman most known for pushing that notion was Simone de Beauvoir, and like her like I think in her book like The Second Sex or whatever, and like even she came out like against age of consent laws.
Oh.
So this is like this was like maybe 100 years ago, I think, was when the book.
Mm-hmm.
So this has sort of been a thing that's been happening for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So, and what's also funny about it is like when it comes to the whole MGTOW and men's rights movement, like a lot of these people say, "Oh, it's a new reactionary movement." I'm like, a lot of the arguments that the MRAs make have been made for like 100 years. It's
Mm-hmm.
just people listening to them until now.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Oh, I do want to say this. I do want to say this though about MGTOW and the men's rights movement. I know that there are certain elements of it that have been going on for a long time, but the thing about it is that a lot of it is fairly recent, and I'll explain why. It's because like back in like God, back as recently even as the 1980s, the decade I was born in, men who remained single, men who actually remained single, did not get married, um, did not date, or just kind of dated off and on but never got married, were always viewed very much with suspicion, and they were always looked down upon by the general community. It's like, if you're going to date around and never get married, there's got to be something wrong with you. And only just recently has there really been a huge rise in that, as men are starting to look around and say, marriage does not favor me and divorce does not favor me. And unfortunately, feminism has
one,
yes, feminism has unfortunately won, and it has made life for men absolutely freaking miserable. And so I would almost say we're kind of watching the second sexual revolution, where guys kind of rise up and say, we're tired of your feminist bullshit. We're going to do our own thing, and you women can do whatever the hell you want. And you know what? Screw it. If you want to look at me with scrutiny, then look at me with scrutiny. But I'm not walking into that bear trap that they call marriage and commitment. And again, it's something I shouldn't have done. It's something I shouldn't have done, and it's something I would not recommend at this point any man do. So if you're a guy, stay single or date off and on, but do not get married, because you will regret the results.
yeah, I mean, I've personally said that the only reason why someone should get married is if they're ultra religious and they believe
Mm-hmm.
so they're going to be sent to a giant underground barbecue pit for the end of time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I can say, all right, when you do a cost benefit analysis, even divorce doesn't sort of scale to that.
Yeah.
So that would be the only reason why I could ever see someone getting married. And like men are less religious than women are. So
Oh yeah.
that sort of is going. So I don't think that's ever going to be sort of a thing where men are going to jump into marriage because of that.
Right.
Um,
Right. Exactly.
so I think that's sort of how I've been very excited about seeing the marriage rates drop.
Oh, same here. Same here. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm eating popcorn and just enjoying it.
Oh, same here. I'm loving this. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh, and I do have to go pretty soon. So should we wrap up?
yeah, sure. We can wrap up now. And all right, so can you tell the audience where they can find you and what plans you got later on. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay, you can hear me now. Okay, okay, beautiful. Sorry about that. I might have had some technical difficulties. You can find me on my Instagram at Night Shift, or my Instagram, my Twitter, my TikTok, or my YouTube channel under NightShift10000. Will you post a link to my channel on when this goes up?
Sure, I can if you want me to.
Okay, beautiful, because that's where y'all can find me. And my plans, I've got a video coming out very soon. I'm not sure if it's going to be tomorrow, but I'm going to try to get it out by tomorrow. It's going to be about about what's going on in France right now, how we're kind of seeing the second French Revolution, what that might lead to in the future. I was also going to do videos on you heard me just pearly things. There was actually a video I had about Kate Yup, the mukbanger. I was going to explain what I thought was going on there. There was also going to be one on the what was it called, the Wagner uprising in Russia, and how it seemed kind of like a false flag. And so those are just a few projects that I'm working on. There's going to be others, definitely, and there's definitely going to be more coming. And I am most certainly going to start more consistently uploading videos. So just expect a lot more to come from my channel if you're a longtime fan. And if you're a new fan, if you're just getting into this, then welcome aboard. The train is gonna get bumpy.
All right. And so, yeah, make sure you can see Night Shift there. After this, he's going to provide me a photo that I can use for the avatar for the video. So, yeah, this is all for today. This is Mr. Brass saying goodbye and get wise.